Alrighty, today is August 25th. Today was the day that Lana released the first half of her American tour, and it sold out in a damn hour and 30 minutes. And it just has me thinking. It's been a couple of weeks. I've had a moment to take it in, remember it, cherish it, become it, be one with it, just change my life to fit around the narrative that was 2023 Outside Lands and seeing her for the first time in person for me. And I was just thinking, because of the fact that I just see that tour is on the mind and a lot of people are missing out on the tour, including myself. I'm grateful that I saw her once, but I now am craving more. I gotta be honest, it's become kind of an addiction. I don't know what I can do without her or without seeing her now, so it's kind of rough for everyone involved. But I am ready to break down how I basically saw her. And not only did I see her ass, but I saw her for free. So this is basically my breakdown of how I saw Lana Del Rey at 2023 Outside Lands for basically free. Mage. So it all started on March 7th. I was reading, my regular Lana Del Rey fan pages on Instagram, and all of a sudden the headlines came out. It was official. Lana Del Rey was playing Outside Lands 2023. And I was out and about at the time when I saw the news, but I am from the Bay Area. I grew up right across the bridge from San Francisco, and to find out that she was going to be right down there, and I was like, I have to see her. So I've never been to a concert before, really, and I've never really been to anything like Outside Lands, so I had no idea what it was, really, and it was kind of embarrassing. So I had to call a few people up, and when I did, I was told that, tickets usually range from, 230 to, and plus range. I don't know. They're not really sure. Prices weren't really out yet, but it was just official that she was playing Outside Lands. So I called up some friends. I was like, we have to do it, da-da-da-da. And sometimes it kind of just fizzled out. We all kind of got a little overworried about the price. We're all students. I know my ass is barely getting by. I'm barely floating by on whatever dollar I have. So I know that it might not be a reality for me to be able to see her. So that was kind of what was going through my mind. But one of my friends told me about this thing you can do where she had heard that you can do a volunteer thing. It's a trade-off. You work a few hours for Outside Lands and they let you have a free ticket, free ride. You get to do your thing. And I was like, that sounds amazing. It sounds great. I got real excited. I went to look to see how we could do it. I went to, it was sfoutsidelands.com, I think. And then there was a volunteer application area. It was you looked on the website, you go to the volunteer area, and there was one. It said volunteer application. And then when it was Clean Vibes, what I've heard is do not ever look at Clean Vibes. Do not go Clean Vibes. I think it's just trash picking up, which I've heard can be fun, but from what I saw, it was not the vibe. The way to go was the volunteer application. So I started looking at it and I noticed that there was a $500 deposit. So that was kind of March 7th, I kind of just put it on the back burner because I'm $500, I can't even scrounge that up. What am I don't even know. So I kind of just fell into a lull, just continued living, continued Lana-ing, just continued just existing with sort of the feeling in the back of my mind that I was going to miss out on this opportunity to see her. And all of a sudden, I was awoken on July 6th by my very best friend and roommate, and she had, or one of my very best friends. I have to make that clear because I know people that I don't want to go there. One of my very best friends, she had woken me up at 10 a.m. and was like, you got to get your ass up. I had just the night before been going through a very violent episode relating to my gallbladder. So I was like, kind of like, oh, like, stop trying to wake me up. Like, it was not the vibe. 10 a.m., I wanted to keep sleeping. Like, I had been up all night, violently throwing up. Not a fun vibe all around. But I got my ass together, and she was like, get your ass up. The volunteer applications opened. And so this was July 6th. And so I was like, fuck, like, ugh. And it kind of just all came rushing through me, like, okay, there's a reality now that I might be able to see Lana. Like, this could really happen. And so I get my ass up, I pull out my, like, rookety-ass computer, and I'm trying to pull up the thing, and the website is, like, crashing. So we basically she had signed up for an email notification, which you can sign up for to get notified when the volunteer application opens. And literally, I guess because all of our Lana ass bitches were so on the nose about this, we're all scrappy, we all know how to use a dime, and we all knew to get on this damn thing. So the website was literally crashing, and I kept refreshing. I had to get through pushing through creating an account. I created a whole thing. And then came the part where I did have to put $500 down. I'm not proud of what I did, but I put it on my credit card. You know, I had to, you know, I'm not saying for anyone else to do that. I wouldn't do it ever again. I think it was because it was the morning and I was just so, you know, shaken the night before. Long story short was I just was like, fuck it, I love you. I'm fucking gonna put $500 down. And I did, and I knew that it was not really putting $500 down because I knew I'd work my ass off at Outside Lands and get that money back. So I put her ass down. By the time I was on my way out to work, and I didn't really make it. I was 15 minutes late because the damn website kept refreshing. I got kicked out several times for my selection, but I ended up getting the lockers at Twin Peaks, and that was on Friday, the first day. And then on Sunday, I had gotten something that said like offsite, something Bill Graham Auditorium. I don't know, it's a story for later. So I signed up, I got my ass together, and I was like, fuck, I'm like seeing Lana. So after July, I just sort of, oh my God. Well, I was just getting off of watching all the Ocean Boulevard shit. Like, I was just getting off of getting into that. And it just sort of enveloped me. I just it was like a reawakening of every single, I could re-listen to every song. It like brought new life, new joy. I know everyone can relate because it's seriously something that like, if you know, you know, if you know, you don't. Like, if you get it, you don't, you know. You know what I mean? Anyway. So the long story short is I was ready to do it. And I worked for the first portion of the summer. I wanted to get some money saved up because I knew it was not going to be cheap getting there. There was no food involved in the application thing or in the volunteer program, kind of high and dry. So I knew it was going to be $70 worth of food for one lunch. So I worked my ass off in a greenhouse. And I got, you know, a good summer's worth of work in. And then the day came. We drove up on, my friend had driven separately. She had gone with a family situation. And I drove up on my own on Thursday, the 10th. I went up, I slept at one of my parents' house. Then we woke up the next morning. We drove our asses into the city. We parked by the San Francisco Zoo because there was a bus on the Muni that you could take from there to Outside Lands. And there was free parking aplenty. And I don't have any like good shit in my car. But people were saying that the break-ins have been bad. And I I don't know. My friend was freaking out about the break-ins, and she said that that was the area to go. So don't listen to me specifically, because I'm not encouraging parking anywhere right now, because I cannot guarantee no one's going to get broken into. But I will say I did not get broken into, and neither did my friend. So that was the first day. We shuttled in. We got our volunteer sign in at the very front. I brought a pocket knife because I always have one on my keychain, and it's like one of the things that you can't have, and I was not about to lose it, so I had to hide it in a bush. I hid it in a bush for later, went in, got my ass to working. Well, we got in, it was kind of confusing because we got our shirts, and then we kind of went down, even though we had been checked in, and apparently we stepped out of bounds, got back into bounds, and we finally got our stuff together. We had our bracelet, we had our shirt, we had everything ready, and it was time for us to get to our scheduled areas. So my scheduled area was at the Twin Peaks locker, which was basically at the very end of the event, and just so happened to be the stage Lana was going to be playing at, but on Saturday, which was not the day I was working. I have to tell you, it was the best experience working the lockers, because I just got to hang out and give people locks, and it was a damn blast. I met some really cool people working there. Then honestly, it was a quick 6-hour shift. I went out, I got a lunch. Spent a fortune. It was like too much. I don't want to talk about it. Got done with the shift. We wrapped up. We stayed with my friend's friend, who is now my friend, in the city. It was a great experience. We woke up the next day, and it was time for Lana. So we woke up, we got breakfast. We knew that we had to be there early because we wanted to be there, like, to be in the front, but we didn't know we had to be there that early. I will put footage right here of apparently at 10:30 a.m., all of the Lana, well, no, not 10:30. What am I even saying? People lined up from like 9 o'clock, 7 a.m., all these things, so that at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock when the place opened, they all ran directly to the front of the Twin Peaks stage where Lana was performing at 9:30 p.m. And they were there at like 12, 13, 14 hours before. So when we got there, it was about 12 o'clock. There was already a little bit of a girdle around the front of the stage. And I was like, fuck to the no, because I just so happened to have my sushi cats, which I will put in a photo here. They are these little cats that basically are like on sushi. They're like sushi and they're a cat. It's like this like really like cute thing that like I've cherished my entire life, and like I collect them. I get them in Japantown in San Francisco. So it's like it was like a whole mind, body, and spirit. Like I had to get their asses to Lana type of situation. I was like, I need to get to the front so that I can get them to her. That was like what was going through my mind the whole time. So throughout the day, we stood there and people gathered around us and packed in, and there were occasional mosh pits where people would dive through the mosh pit to get to the front. I will say, me and my friend, I grabbed her ass. We did bolted right to the front. Not quite to the front, but we slowly but surely moved our way up. And I got closer and closer. There was one point where I was able to hitch a ride on a girl who was making her way to the front. I didn't get all the way there, but I got close enough to be able to yell to a bitch in the front. And I said, girl, and I picked up my sushi cats. And I said, I need you to get my sushi cat babies to Lana. Please take them. And I sent their asses to the front. And I waited there for about like 9 to 10 hours. We went through performance after performance. There was some cute people before. I am like kind of a crazy person, and I live under a rock for the most part. So I didn't know a single other person playing the event really. So I especially didn't really know the people who were playing before. It was kind of I was sort of an embarrassment to everyone around me in the area, because I just like, it was person after person. It was like, there was someone named like, oh God, I think someone was named like Orion Story. There was someone named Conan Gray. I want to say his name was Conan Gray. ugh. And then there was like a few other people, and I like don't even know their names. It's like so embarrassing. But I like had to. I adjusted. I was very cheery. I was having a good time all around. Um, I legitimately got 2 rows away from the front within a couple of hours, and by the time Lana started coming on, it was about I was about hour 9 or 10 in, and I was shaking a little bit, and I was a little bit worried that I was going to pee myself. So that was something that was going on. I had made friends with a few people around me. Grace loved Grace, Nia. There were so many people I loved. Oh my God, Natalie. I know I almost forgot your ass, your name, but I remembered. Don't you go there. But I love. There were so many people. I was literally feeling the groupie love. Like I was obsessing. I could not stop saying groupie love. Like every person, I was like, groupie love. Like this is groupie love. Like grab people, groupie love, groupie love, groupie. It was like groupie love. Like I loved the whole situation. And my friend, on the other hand, she's not quite Lana Stan status. She was a little intimidated by the Lana Stans. Let's just say that. We were an aggressive audience, and I found that to be resilient. I found that to be an amazing experience because I had never felt so seen, so heard, so welcomed, so one with the audience. You know, it's just like, it was so much like you could just talk about, oh, I went to this or that manic episode. And they all were like, yeah, me too. And I was like, they all get it. They got it, and I loved it. And I was literally could not believe that I had done this for free. So Lana comes on. I'm legitimately like shaking. I was holding my like legs together. I could not believe it. I literally thought I was gonna pee, but I didn't. Then she came on. She started with A&W. It was, oh my God. It was literally, oh God, I've got to say the order that they were in. Hold on. I'm going to talk about each goddamn thing that I went through because it was, I said it once and I'll say it 1,000 times. Like, after this experience, my life has changed. And that is just something for me. And like, you know, not everyone has to abide by having a life-changing experience when seeing Lana, but I know for me that that's what it was. And it was very emotional. It was like, all right, hold on. I'm just stalling because I'm getting this goddamn thing queued up because I gotta see it in order. Okay, come on. All right. So it started with A&W, as I was saying. And she didn't do the whole thing. She just went straight in with the, I say I live in Rosemead, really? Which I'm like, love. Like, I've seen her do that live a few times, and I was like, like, that song this year has really been such a, like, song vibe. It's been, like, the year. It's gonna be song of the year forever. Like, it is what it is. So going straight into that, I died. I think I was screaming. I cried. I don't know if you saw in the other videos. Hopefully it wasn't me who was the one that everyone was complaining was screaming. But if it was, I lost control of my entire body during that span that she was on stage. So I apologize legitimately. But it was, seriously, like, I blacked out basically. So from A&W, she went into Young and Beautiful, which, oh my God, such an emotional experience. My friend, it was like her introduction to Lana, and so she was like crying. I was grabbing her, like sobbing. I was like, oh, that face, oh, like, I just, oh my God. I literally, I died during that. So when that first half happened, it was just, I got that onto one. And then I moved on to, she did Chemtrails Over the Country Club, which I enjoyed. Like, I've heard of a lot of people who are like chemtrail haters, but I legitimately enjoyed the hell out of it. Chemtrails Over the Country Club, loved it. I love that song. It was emotional. I think everyone was kind of getting wrapped up in the song, and I kind of liked it because while everybody knew every single lyric to like Young and Beautiful, you could tell like with the songs that like some bitches who are a little bit more on the local side, what they would appear to be as not really knowledgeable over. So you could hear a little bit of a deafen in the crowd over like Chemtrails, over the next one, which was Bartender. People did not really know that one as much, so it was nice to be able to hear her so crisply that one. I love that song, so of course I had a moment. It's fucking NFR, like it's gonna be a moment no matter what. After that was oh my god, she went into the Grants, which emotional experience all around. I have to admit, as much as I've like really wanted to find a moment to have it happen, I had yet to like cry to the Grants. Like I had cried to a few other songs from Ocean Boulevard as it came out, but not the damn Grants. I just never was able to push my eyes to push the tear. And that was not a problem at all because when it happened, this is a very emotional song for my friend as well. So it was a second cry. I think we were at about, I was probably 4 cries in at about this point. That is when she went into Hope Is a Dangerous Thing. Okay, so like, honesty time, I really have never like been the hugest Hope Is a Dangerous Thing fan. Like it's been the last one on NFR that like I had like yet to download to my Apple Music. I knew the lyrics, but like I don't know. But when she sung it live, I was like, fuck, I get it. I cried. I had a moment, and I added it to my playlist immediately. And I luckily was able to like keep up with most of the lyrics, but anyway, very emotional all around. Then Pretty When You Cry happened. Mother effing Lana, like I have to say, for this one, it was kind of a lot. Her ass sort of just crawled up onto the stage and like lied down for the whole thing. So I'm like, you take your nap, girl. Lana, I love you. You take as many naps as you need to. I loved watching it because it was just her lying and like the camera facing from like her above down, and we saw it up on the screen. She was lying around with those dancers and she was just having a damn good time. So I was all for it at the end of the day. Then so then she went into the Ride monologue, and I've listened to the Ride monologue a lot. But I legitimately, like, it was so embarrassing for this concert specifically because I have gotten so enveloped in Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard, just like Ocean Boulevard as an album, that I've like not been like re-listening over and over again as I used to her, like, Born to Die stuff. So, oh my God, when the Ride monologue was happening and everyone was talking it, I was like trying to keep up. It was an embarrassing moment, but I gotta be real, and never once will it happen again because ever since then, I've been practicing it. It's not gonna happen to me again. It's not gonna dirty happen again. So she then went into Ride, which is another story. I will never ever be able to not have the words to Ride imprinted in my memory. I did it at karaoke at my cousin's wedding a month ago. I will never not know Ride. So every word to Ride was an utterly spoken lyric. I sobbed. Like, I was like breaching panic attack, like quivering lip. Ride was crazy. Then she did her like kind of country moment, and she did Stand By Your Man, which is like a song by someone, which I haven't really done a lot of research into. But I know her ass is going to come up with a country album pretty soon, and I'm aware that it's happening. I think that's why I'm kind of neglecting that sort of half of her right now, because I don't really want to admit that it's going to happen, but I know that it will, and when it does, I'll get into it. I I got into chemtrails. I'll get into that too. So she then went into that, and then she did Blue Jeans, which was like, it was kind of crazy because I go back and forth on Blue Jeans a lot, but just seeing her do it, it was like, oh fuck. Like, it was so cool. Except for the fact that her dirty ass, like, we're gonna be real for a real level right now. I think she was a little tipsy or a little something something, but I think she made forgot the lyrics when this was happening, and I just thought that was so funny. Like, you know what, girl? You're here. Have fun. Don't, like, sit down. Don't finish a lyric. Do what you gotta do, girl. I'll take it anyway. I'll take whatever she gives me. So that happened, and then we got into Norman fucking Rockwell. When that happened, everybody was like, no. It was like a clan aneurysm across the audience. Like, everyone died when that happened. Everyone sobbed. It was a moment, of course. Then she did Arcadia, which I was like, damn girl, like, okay, like, I've seen her do it a few times. Like, I guess this is the one she's pulling out from Blue Banisters. I would, like, there's a few other songs that I would prefer, I would have liked on there from Blue Banisters, but, like, deep cut, so, like, it is what it is, you know? I then went into Ultraviolence. This is when her ass came down to the stage. This is when the bitch who was supposed to give the cats to her, spoiler alert, failed her opportunity, didn't get them to her. I was pretty damn close. I was jumping. I got so close to her. It was amazing. She then retreated. I didn't get her my cats. She then went into Summertime Sadness. It was a moment for everyone. Everyone knows it and loves it. Then she got on her damn swing and did video games. I had a real hard time filming that. And then the last one was, she concluded with Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard, which was such an amazing, like, emotional wrap up. And I goddamn loved it. So as she walked off, I was, like, fully entranced. It was sort of, like, death-defying. It kind of ended, and I was upset that I didn't get my cats to her, but I'm gonna get them to her someday, somehow, somewhere, and some why. They're getting to her. I'm gonna get them to her, and this is just a challenge to just starting. You know, it's just beginning. So from there, I kind of rummaged around. I was trying to get her the damn cats. I took a picture of the set lineup. I was able to get that. That was pretty cool. Or the set list, whatever the damn list is called. And then I concluded that night. I had to then walk about 20 miles to a muni where someone was not packed in like sardines to be able to get back inland to the place we were staying at in the city. I then we went to our friend's house. I had my final shift. It was a nightmare. I ended up having it be an offsite at the Bill Graham Auditorium all the way in the deep city. And I showed up at Outside Lands. So I ended up having to take a shuttle all the way to where I was working. I was an hour and a half late. Thank God they were helpful with me and they were, you know, kind and very forgiving. I figured it out. I worked my shift. I finished at the Bill Graham Auditorium. I got on a shuttle. I got back. And then I drove my ass back here to San Luis Obispo. The entire drive home, I was in a state of shock. I was still getting over the day prior. I was just re-listening to all of my videos from the concert over and over and over again because I just kept needing to feel like what it was like to be there over and over and over. And I'm sure a lot of people can understand what that was like. I am still feeling that way. I am feeling now very vengeful and spiteful towards all those people who are going to see her in the next part of her tour. And I will say that all around, I got my deposit back. I got my $500. So I saw her ass for free in the front row, and it was worth every second of it. So at the end of the day, I had a great time, and I would recommend it for everyone who can do it. And that was my experience seeing Lana Del Rey for free at Outside Lands in 2023. Made.